Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Today's show is presented by Magic Spoon. I'm telling you, this cereal is killer. It's tasty, it's healthy, and it uses clean ingredients, and you can get $5 off at checkout by going to magicspoon.com/49ers Report. That link for that discount promo at your checkout is available in the description as well as the comment section of this video. This cereal is killer. The flavors are absolutely unbelievable. My personal favorite is peanut butter, but you can try out all of the flavors and see what they have to offer. magicspoon.com/49ers Report. A programming note we have to get to before we start today's show. New live showtime. Starting next week, we're going to be going live on Tuesdays instead of Thursdays, and we're bumping it back an hour from 6 o'clock Eastern to 7 o'clock Eastern. So subscribe and join us on the 49ers Report, 7 o'clock Eastern, starting on Tuesday for all of our live coverage right here on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Here's what we're getting into on today's show. Some 49ers surprise cut candidates as we start to inch closer and closer to the 2021 NFL regular season when the Niners take on the Detroit Lions in Week 1 to kick everything off. This past week, we had you covered when the Niners trimmed their roster down by 5 players. Next week, they're going to trim their roster down by 5 more players. So this is why we're talking about some surprise cut candidates, guys who might have been on the roster bubble, or a little while ago we expected them to make the roster, but we have them getting cut. 85-man roster cut down was this past week, August 17th. 80-man roster cut down is next week on August 24th. We're going to have you covered right here on the channel. And the big day, 53-man roster cut down date set for August 31st prior to the season opener. Let's get to some rules for today's exercise because everybody likes to get into the comment section and just spit some fire hot takes. Don't be afraid to do so with this video either. Here are the exercise rules. These cut candidates, as I mentioned, were/are expected to make the team. I'm the general manager, so I'm in the chair of John Lynch, and I'm the one making the cuts. And this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be entertaining, and we are allowed to disagree. So once again, if you disagree with some of my cut candidates, let me know in the comment section and list some players that you think should be cut who were not on this list. Let's get to those surprise cut candidates. Going to start off in the backfield with Wayne Gallman, a free agent acquisition from the New York Giants this offseason. The Niners have a really crowded backfield. That's why I have Gallman on this list. And what Kyle Shanahan has been able to do with the development of running backs since he took over as the head coach has been absolutely phenomenal. It seems as though every back that Kyle Shanahan and this offensive staff gets their hands on, they end up being legitimate players. So they do such a good job of developing running backs, and they just drafted 2 in Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, the latter down for the next couple of weeks because of that hip injury. Another reason why Gallman could get cut is because against the Kansas City Chiefs on Saturday, outside of that inopportune fumble, I thought Jaquiski Tartt really popped. And he's a lot younger and cheaper than is Wayne Gallman. You take a look at the 49ers running back depth chart, and it's not like they have a superstar on the roster, but I love the variety of skills that all of these guys possess. Raheem Mostert, he's physical and he's fast as a 4-3 guy. Can't wait to see Trey Sermon as a rookie. You have Wayne Gallman in there. Jaquiski Tartt played well against the Chiefs. I thought he was better than Gallman with more carries. Elijah Mitchell out because of that aforementioned hip injury, and then Jeff Wilson is currently on PUP as he comes back from that meniscus injury. If you do part ways with Gallman, it's not really gonna dent you in terms of the salary cap because this offseason, he only signed a 1-year, $990,000 contract, and there are no guarantees a part of that. So I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world to get rid of a player like Gallman, who is really cheap, and instead replace him with a younger player who still has as much ability, if not more upside, like a guy like Jaquiski Tartt. So will Gallman make the team? Let me know right now in the comments section. Get your votes in. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know and predict the future of Wayne Gallman right now in the comment section. To a hybrid defensive player now, Marcell Harris. Niners fans familiar with him because he's been with this organization for a little while now. He's transitioned this offseason from defensive back almost primarily to linebacker. Now, he can still give you both. Drop back in coverage and play a little DB, or come up in the box or be a rangy coverage linebacker. In his debut at that new position, I thought he played well against the Chiefs. And I do think that he does give you value if you keep him on this roster. But here's my question. You drafted Talanoa Hufanga, who's starting to get starting reps right now in training camp. And in that preseason opener against KC, Hufanga was making plays all across the field. Here's the problem, though. He, like Harris, can play defensive back, little bit of safety, as well as hybrid linebacker, and contribute on special teams. So is he a same or similar player to Harris, and do you side with the younger player with maybe a little bit more upside in Hufanga over a guy like Harris? I do think versatility is really important, and I especially think that nowadays as offenses in the NFL change, when you're seeing a lot of former defensive backs start to play linebacker so that they can cover running backs coming out of the backfield in the passing game on wheel routes or cover some of those tight ends. Another reason, though, why Harris could be expendable is because the Niners last weekend signed a linebacker with a lot of experience who's probably better as a pure linebacker than Harris is in Michael Kendricks. That contract being made official yesterday as we record this on our live show on Thursday. So that deal made official on Wednesday. It's going to be 1 year, little more than $1 million. So I do think that the Niners coaching staff likes Kendricks, which could then lead to Marcell Harris being on the outside looking in. What do you think about his future? You already chimed in on Wayne Gallman. What about Marcell Harris's future? Let me know right now. Is he going to make the team or is he going to get cut? Type C for cut, type M for make. Get your votes in right now and let me know if you think Marcell Harris makes this 53-man roster. You can get yourself a box, maybe even boxes of Magic Spoon cereal by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. The ingredients in Magic Spoon are phenomenal. It's high in protein, keto-friendly, gluten-free, and per serving, you get 13 to 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carbs. And all of the flavors that they're trotting out are delicious. In my hands right now, peanut butter, that's my favorite flavor, as well as cocoa. But honestly, on my Magic Spoon power rankings, fruity is starting to climb up that list. I've tried Frosty. And what the cool thing that Magic Spoon does is they have some of these special release flavors too that come out from time to time on their year-round schedule. So if you want tasty cereal that's actually good for you and not loaded with a bunch of awful ingredients like all of the traditional brands out there, get $5 off at checkout by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. That link is in the live chat during our live show, but also in the description if you're watching this after the fact. More surprise cut candidates to get to. This one may be the easiest one I came across when I was putting together this list, and it's Jalen Hurd. I hate to do it, but I had to do it, especially with the news that came through from Kyle Shanahan on Thursday after those joint practices with the Los Angeles Chargers. Jalen Hurd has been shut down for the entire week due to knee tendonitis. It's the same knee that he tore the ACL in last year during training camp. And that knee tendonitis is a result of him tearing that ACL, according to Niners doctors and Shanahan. Not good. This guy was drafted in the 3rd round back in 2019. He has not played not a single regular season snap in only 1 preseason game. I think he's going to get cut because he's not on the field and some of these other wide receivers are soaring. Let's take a peek at the depth chart. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Mohamed Sanu. All of those guys safe on the roster right now in my opinion. Richie James, according to the team's depth chart, is the wide receiver number 4. But I'd make the argument that Trent Sherfield should be wide receiver 4. He's been even balling out enough to make him wide receiver 3. I really like what Jawan Jennings did with the ball in his hands against the Chiefs last Saturday. I think that Nasimba Webster gives you more than a guy like Richie James and Jalen Hurd. And this is what was really telling back 2 weeks ago when we covered it here, right here on the Niners Report, is what Kyle Shanahan and Wes Welker said. They were very complimentary of Jalen Hurd. And it's hard not to be because the guy is a physical specimen at 6'4", 220, 230 pounds. But here's the problem. He's just not available for this team. He's played 1 regular season snap in the last 2 years, and I don't think he's healthy enough to give you anything or contribute right now in the near future. And they basically said, look, if you're not on the practice field and we don't have an opportunity to watch you and evaluate you, yet we're watching all of these other wide receivers improve their crafts and play, we're probably going to side with those guys over a guy who's injured. So the Jalen Hurd experiment and tenure has been very, very frustrating. That's why I'm asking you this. What is your one-word reaction to Jalen Hurd's tenure in Santa Clara? For me, frustrating, because you see so much ability, and it's really unfortunate what's happened to him because he hasn't been able to control it. Back issue, knee issue, and now that knee issue is causing him more concerns and problems in year 3. It's just not good. But get your one-word reactions in. Another surprise cut candidate, Ross Dwelley at tight end. And like running back, like wide receiver, like defensive line, this position group is really deep. And the tight ends race became somewhat interesting after George Kittle with the way that Jordan Matthews played against the Chiefs in that preseason opener. He's making the position switch from wide receiver to tight end. And he really does look the part. He added 30 pounds of weight during the offseason. I thought he blocked well when he was asked to do so. He freed up some space for that JaMychal Hasty touchdown run late in that game. Picked up some really impressive yards after the catch on his lone reception, but also made a couple of plays on special teams. And you have a little bit more invested in Charlie Warner, who's probably going to be in the mix for a backup spot, than you do a guy like Ross Dwelley, because you drafted Warner in the 6th round back in 2020. I'm starting to bite the J-Matt fishhook. I've been on this train for a little while, and some people were making fun of me in the comment section saying, you're biting the bait on Jordan Matthews. It's really not that. It's my evaluation of Jordan Matthews and him contributing in the run game blocking, him looking the part as a wide receiver, but also making plays on special teams. He looks good and natural as a tight end, and because of that prior wide receiving experience, I think he's better than the backup tight ends on this roster. I really do, and Kyle Shanahan likes himself some weapons. Do you think Matthews is going to make the team? It's crystal ball time. So look into that crystal ball and let me know. Type 1 for yes, he'll make it. Type 2 for nah, he won't. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section down below. For my Niner gang and Niner faithful, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? We have more than 300 people watching live right here on Thursday. But subscribe to the 49ers Report, because here on the channel, we hit you with the latest news and rumors, free videos every single day, coverage year-round on your Niner gang, live shows every Tuesday now because we're switching the schedule now that football season is almost upon us, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific every Tuesday instead of Thursdays, breaking news, and let's get the 40,000 subscribers, youtube.com/49ers TV, or smash that red subscribe button down below. Last cut candidate to get to, longtime Niner, Jaquiski Tartt. Man, this turf toe injury is really, really weird. He's been out, and this has lingered since last November. And when Kyle Shanahan spoke about that injury last week, he seemed confounded. He seemed confused as to how in the world this injury could linger for almost a year. It hasn't gone away, and Tartt hasn't been able to partake in any team activities throughout training camp. And Kyle Shanahan basically said, I don't know if Tartt is going to be available to start the season or at all throughout the season, because we can't just get this toe injury right, and the emergence of Talanoa Hufanga has maybe made Tartt a guy who could see himself out the door when the rosters have to get cut down. We will see. Want to take a look real quick at this defensive back depth chart, because there isn't a lot of depth here. There are quality players on this depth chart, and because of Tartt, we are talking about the safety position. You signed Clinton-Dix, and on Wednesday, he was making plays. He seems hungry. You have Talanoa Hufanga, who you drafted this year, who's got some baby shades of Troy Polamalu. Other than that, there isn't a bunch of depth at the safety position. I love Jimmy Ward, longtime leader of this franchise, but has Jaquiski Tartt and his value just diminished a little bit if Hufanga continues to rise with his stock and Clinton-Dix can at least give you anything? I had some questions about the Clinton-Dix signing because, look, you know, he was a former first-round pick who made a Pro Bowl, but he hasn't been in the league since 2019. He's had to deal with a variety of injuries. But if Clinton-Dix can give you anything, Maybe that allows you to part ways with Tartt, who you're paying a little bit of money to, and he's had to deal with his own injury issues throughout his career. Tony Jefferson has been placed on the injured list as well, so we're not sure when we're going to get him back. But I'd say that Tartt is maybe the most less likely player to get cut among these candidates, but we will see what happens, because if you're not on the field helping the squad, you're not on the field helping a squad. So I just named a bunch of players who I think could get cut by the Niners over the next couple of days and weeks. Name a surprise cut candidate you think is going to get cut, and get those names in the comment section down below.